Hey guys, and welcome to the last beginner scripting tutorial. And in this tutorial we are gonna learn about various warnings and errors. Well, before starting this, I wanna just tell you that I will not be able to tell you all the errors because there are a lot of them, and I'm gonna just leave you probably a link in the description where you can just check all the errors yourself in the wiki. So yeah, let's get started. First of all, as you can see, I have the worst script ever because it's full of errors and stuff, and it's really bad, trust me. So first of all, there is a typo. Apparently, I have too many typos and sad face, and that's a problem, you know. It's first warning is unknown global, so it's usually because you made a typo somewhere, or it just there is no such thing in the Roblox API or application programming interface. So yeah, for example, if I just fix all the typos, as you can see, just grayed out the text, or it should be blue if you are in the regular studio without any modifications. And about modifications, I mean those color changing, you know. So yeah, now I'm gonna fix all those typos. So those typos just doesn't do anything. It just, I don't know, makes this text kinda weird, you know, and that is a problem sometimes, you know. And if we play it, it should just say everything great. As you can see, I have too many typos. So that's the first warning. And now, unknown global sometimes happens because you just write I don't know, for example, that workspace or something. Sometimes it says that, but just if you write script, I don't think you're gonna type that wrong because it just helps you with that thingy. But for example, if you did script like so, and it just, I don't know, the pair or something equals nil, then it says unknown global because it doesn't know script from capital. And that's with the first warning. The second warning is something is deprecated. For example, Roblox has this kind of variable. I don't really know how it's called. Is it version like so? Yeah. As you can see, it's deprecated because they probably don't even update it. Or for example, if you just make a game from capital G, it's also deprecated. And if I say that parent or something, also I need to finish this because it says expected identifier got EOF, which is end of file. You just need to end it because else it just, I don't know. And as you can see, it's also deprecated. So it usually says that you need to replace that with something else. Okay, the third warning is global name is only used with enclosing function. Consider changing it to local. So it just uses, it's used in functions clearly, and you just, if you accidentally do like that, like a equals 1, it just throws that warning. But it doesn't work with if statements, I believe. If for example, well, let's just write true, and then b equals 2. No, it doesn't work. So it just only works with functions. Let's try with loops. While true, do a equals 1. No, it only works with functions. Okay, So it just happens because you might accidentally override the same variable, and then stuff might break, you know. So it just throws that warning. Also, just use different variables to avoid that. Um, Next up, we have statement spans multiple lines. Use identification to silence, and that's a bit complex warning even for me a bit, because I don't really get it. But sometimes if you just write local stuff equals string u, and then we write like some kind of things, you know. But we accidentally wrote those two dots for some reason, and then we just wrote subdued, and then we wrote function do stuff, and then those brackets, and then end. And wait, it doesn't even work. Oh, okay, that's weird. It even throws an error because it doesn't work that way. But if I deleted this, everything works? That's weird. Well, if I just wrote a function or just something like that, it just says that warning, and it's just a double warning, you know. Spans multiple lines, and then this. So how this works? Lua understands that if you write those two dots, it just concatenates the string. It's like adding a number, something like that. It just connects it. You could understand it like this. If it connects this number, or I mean word or text or string, by the way, if you just press enter, it's a white space. If you didn't know, just makes a second line, and it like thinks that this is right here, and this is exactly the same. So that's why you sometimes need to remove the line to just get rid of that warning. Then we have a known type name. So for example, if you just want to write instance dot new, and then you might think out of somewhere that there is a thing such I don't know, such as fan or something, and it just says type name unknown. And if you press it, it actually enters a window with context help to know all those warnings right here, as you can see. So this is just, you know, when there is no such thing in this, like for example objects, there's no such object. That's pretty simple. And we are getting next to the built-in global. Some kind of name is overwritten here. Consider using local or changing the name. For example, if you did something weird, for example, if you try to override function or just a built-in variable, I believe, let's just try with that version that I mentioned before, without those things, equals 1. No, it doesn't work. But if I try to do like this, equals 1, and then it gets you double warning, you know. This first of all, that's the previous warning that I said to you, and this is the second warning that it's overwritten. So it might lead to some weird bugs, you know, if you override built-in variable or a function. Well, it's a variable if it doesn't have those parentheses or brackets. So yeah. Next up we have a placeholder value. Yeah, that's pretty simple. If you write like this, equals 1, I believe, comma, I don't really know how that works. This underscore is just a placeholder, you know. It's a placeholder variable, whatever the hell does that mean. And then if you write 1, I believe it works, because it's a placeholder. It just holds the place, I guess. And you can make it to local, which is equal to nil if you didn't wrote anything. That's because many people use this as a placeholder, it doesn't really matter. It's a bit useless value. And if you try to read, for example, print this, it throws this error. Yeah, as you can see, it just says placeholder value of this is read here. Consider using a named variable. So we need to name it. I believe if you write like this, it's a named variable. But oh damn, why did it crash? No, it didn't. That would be bad, I guess. So yeah, that's all the warnings. There are not too many, like 6 or something. So yeah, let's get to the errors. So before doing anything, I wanna point that out, that you can make your own warning and error. So you just write warn and then strings. So for example, a hi. And if we run, because running is a bit faster than playing, it should say hi in error. That's the thing. And if we just clear the output and then wrote error, and then deleted brackets because we have them, it should say error and then how to every single information that is in there. As you can see, workspace, the worst script ever. I gonna tell you how to read those errors. So first thing, the first part, you see time of the error when it occurred. It's even, I believe, in seconds and in the milliseconds actually. So yeah, as you can see, it's basically midnight for me. And then stack begin, line 1, it's a line, and then stack end. I believe there is a thing called call stack. I don't really use it, but the way how you read the errors is just a date first of all, and then full name of the script, or just a place where it's at, workspace.worst script ever, and then a column, line of it, which is line 1, and then the actual message. So in this case it's hi. And well, I could tell you another warning. First of all, I need to stop this. When you wait, for example, I don't really know, let's just write script dot parent, no, not archivable, dot parent column wait for child, and then if you write some kind of child that is not existent and it waits too long, for example test, and it never appears, so if we run, it should say infinite yell possible. As you can see, it tries to wait, and after a couple of seconds it just says infinite yell possible, and the yell is basically waiting, infinite wait possible on this thingy. That's kinda like warning, kinda error, I don't really know. But if we write second argument, which is a timeout, which after that amount of time, it just goes along those lines, like in the second line and the third, you get this. It should not throw any errors. As we wait, we see no errors. So yeah, that's the thingy. Now about errors. Well, that was a warning / error. So for example, if I write if true, then and then, as you can see, for some errors you don't even need to run or play. It just says in the script analysis tab, assuming you open it, and it's right there. Where is it? Here, script analysis. So yeah, expected end to close, you need just end, because it just does the problems, it doesn't run if there is no error. For example, if I deleted then, it just says expected the then got end, and it needs then. If I just say nothing here, expected identifier. So if you need to compare something in the if statement, If I deleted this, it should say, yeah, it's also identifier. Okay, here's your identifier. Hope you are happy. So yeah, now there are a lot of errors, you know. I'm gonna tell you a couple of basic ones, because I'm lacking of time, because it's already 18 minutes, you know. So for example, if I try to print one dot dot, and as you can see, malformed number, because there is no such number as one dot 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 dot. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, also sometimes I'm gonna show you what is a table, because you're gonna learn in the skilled series first episode. So let's just try to do like that. First of all, table is like a thing that you hold a lot of things, have a lot of values. So just call it lol equals table 1 comma lol. Wait, that's wrong, comma comma, and then lol, and then yeah, it should be enough. And then we try to just print a high, and then concatenate and lol. And if we run, it should say attempt to concatenate a table value. As you can see right here, attempt to concatenate global lol, but it's a table value, so that's basically it. But if we try to attempt to index something that it's not existent, and it should say, like, for example, not nil, but ni. No. Oh, I forgot it. Just sets that to string. That's the thing, you know. And if there is no such value, just sets value to nil. But sometimes it says attempt to index something a nil value. For example, I don't really know. Well, let's just not use the print function. Script dot parent, for example. I'm telling you, for example, like 100 times. And then equals LA. And if we run, it should say attempt to index something, or it just doesn't run because it throws in a warning. I need to reopen my script. Great. But if I do like that, what it does, I don't really know. Oh, bad argument. Yeah, there's another error. Sometimes it expects something else, for example, object value in this case. So yeah, that's the errors, the basic ones, just a bare minimum. For comparison, there are a lot of errors, you know. And I showed you how to read errors. It's sometimes helpful because it shows you the line where you potentially did something bad. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, I guess, or just a lesson how to read errors and warnings. I'll hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next series. Goodbye.